That Arnold's Lonsdale bakery had the best bread, cake, donuts. That was in Lonsdale, Rhode Island, up near the park, up Lincoln Woods. They had crullers. You know, crullers, a twisted donut.
Mm-hmm.
Not like that. Dunkin' Donuts used to make old-fashioned crullers. Now they don't make them. They might make fancy ones, but they're not the same. But the crullers were, and they were twisted. They twisted it. They fried it just like they fried a regular donut, and it got, you had a more crust, or the delicious crust. Oh, never forgave Dunkin' Donuts for killing it. But they had a Swedish rye bread. They call Solholm rye, S-O-L-D-E-R, home, S-O-L-M, rye. And that was, I always said it should be labeled cake. It was so good. Just a perfect level of molasses in it to give it the right flavor. This Arnold's, the new Arnold's, they have crappy bread compared to, I don't know, they put too much molasses in it because, and they also make it swirl, and I didn't like the swirl. Yeah, we go early in the morning. I don't know, early, and we'd get up there. I think he usually hit the first customers about 8 o'clock. The drivers had to load their truck, you know. They would post their orders the day before because they knew what people wanted, and so they'd load the trucks, which with dollies and stuff was pretty quick. Because I had to sit in the truck waiting, and it wasn't very long ever. We'd stop at the diner, the Speed's Diner, and have a quick breakfast. Regular coffee, 2 shots of cream and regular coffee. I guess that was the name. The guy that ran it was Speed, and we'd go to Speed's. I never read that sign. It might have been the Modern Diner or something like that. Yeah. It was one of those, you know, chrome, looked like a railroad car sort of. Yeah. It's probably still there. He made good grilled cheese sandwiches too. We'd start about 8, you know, and then we'd have lunch, bag lunch, or maybe if he's feeling, we might pick up like the sandwiches at the restaurant, but usually my mother packed the lunch and that was it. We'd have lunch and just carry that big basket up 3 flights of stairs. My legs were fantastic. I mean, well, climbing 3 flights of stairs and those stairways, I mean, you ever been in a three-decker house, 3 families? God forbid you meet a fat lady coming down. But there were landings, but you had a basket that's this size with cakes, pies, bread, 2 or 3 kinds of bread, and cakes, a couple of cakes, big, nice cakes, pound cakes, and then pies, a couple of pies. It was heavy. It was a sturdy basket. The dogs would come up, start barking. I'd say, "Dog, I'm gonna reach down and grab your tail from the inside and turn you inside out. Now, do you want to do that or do you want to be quiet?" And they'd back off. And I did that to the lady's dog across the street. She had a boxer or whatever. The little dog was yapping. And the big dog started growling at me. And I gave him the lecture. Told him I'd turn him inside out. And he believed me. And he kept walking backwards. And he walked backwards and he walked back. Pretty soon he's on the porch. That dog doesn't even bark at me anymore. The other one comes over and gets dog biscuits out of my hand. And if I tell them to scat, they scat. But I used to do that with the dogs on the route. Well, he was doing that when I left, I don't know, 5 or 6 years after the grocery store closed. We probably moved about 42, and that's when I went to work at the hospital. I was 14. From 42 till when he quit, and I don't remember when he got fired and lost his job, what happened. I never did find that out. I'll have to ask Roberta if she knows. They may have closed the bakery, I don't know. Yeah, but, what a shame. And another bakery in Rhode Island was closed, Corb's. That was famous. People would drive from all over to go to Corb's Bakery on East Providence Road. I went into one house, up on the second floor, big bread basket and everything. And the lady banged on the door. "Come in, baker." I came in. She's lays in bed with a nightshirt on. And she said, I've got the money here. You'll have to go get it. Because she wasn't fit to get out of bed. And she was clearly not glad to see me. And I told my father, yes, she was in bed. She pulls that all the time. Another one came out, and she was a large lady, very large, big belly, and she was only half dressed. She had bloomers on, and I don't know if you ever seen bloomers. I mean, they came down like here, and they were really baggy. She was a mess. And I'll tell you, I came out and I was laughing, and I was just a kid, but she was. I told him, yes, she's kind of an exhibitionist. Then we had a third one that I remember that from the route, the bakery route, my orders were always the same. If there's no money, don't leave it, because I swear they didn't get it. And they were rich people. He said, they won't pay it. He said, they'll cheat you out of it every time. One time he went in the store. He stopped at a little grocery store, walked in. They didn't have hardly anything. Most of what they had was canned dog food. And he had some Lucky Strikes. The only one he had that my father would smoke. But they were still green and red. Lucky Strikes used to be green background with a red dot on it. And then the green was useful in the war effort. So this was during the war. And so they had a slogan, Lucky Strike Green is going to war. And so I looked at these and they're red and green. And they sold me the cigarettes in a minute. So we went out, I went out, and I said, the only green ones they had were green. He said, you didn't want the green ones. He said, God, no, they'd be stale as hell. I said, how come they have only dog food down? He says, the people in this neighborhood eat a lot of dog food. It may not taste good, but you put a lot of ketchup on it. It's filling. Dog fill up on it, So, because he had a rich section and a very poor section. But, if you wanted bread, you had a baker who comes to the door. And it didn't cost any more. A loaf of bread was the same any place. they didn't buy the fancy cakes and stuff. They had a route manager, and his job was to periodically go with every driver, ultimately go with every driver, alternately, and help drum up business. He was a bulky kind of guy, and he was sitting on that seat, and my father did this house, skipped the house and did this one. And he says, why do you skip that house? Oh, they said we have holy bread. And that was a crime those days to have holes in your bread. It meant you beat air into it. Arnold's bakery never had milk. I never saw holy bread in Arnold's bakery. We ate a lot at Arnold's bakery. So this guy grabs his hat, his loaf of bread, and he heads up there and he bangs on the door. The lady comes, and she told him, she said, well, their bread's holy. He said, oh, no. He broke it open, and he must have gotten the only loaf of bread that came out of that hundreds of thousands loaves of bread that day. And had a big hole right through it. And he looked at it. He said, I'm sorry. He said, I've never seen one like this myself. But you don't have to take my word for it. And he went back on and he sat in the corner of the truck. My father said the route manager just sat, rest of the trip, just sat in that corner. He had been betrayed all over bread. It was it.